The Beverly Hilton Hotel, Beverly Hills, California. Hotel staff were buzzing in preparation for Clive Davis's annual Grammys party. The big event was only 3 days away, and already VIP guests were checking in. Among them, Whitney Houston and her entourage, who occupied several rooms on the 4th floor. Already, the singer's seemingly erratic behavior had drawn attention.
I see her, she's just walking around looking lost and, she was very loud and boisterous. So she was causing a couple of head turns from some of the media there.
Thursday, February 9th, Houston walked in unexpectedly on the taping of an interview with Clive Davis, Brandy, and Monica. Before she left, an exuberant Houston passed a mysterious note to singer Brandy. February 10th, a strange incident occurred in which a guest on the 3rd floor complained that water was leaking into his room from Houston's rooms on the floor above. Saturday, February 11th, the day of Clive Davis's annual pre-Grammy party. The hotel was buzzing with guests, Hollywood reporters, and VIPs. 3:15 p.m., Houston spoke with her mother, who later recalled the conversation saying nothing seemed unusual, but less than 30 minutes later at 3:43 p.m., Houston's security guard broke in to find her in the tub face down. By 3:55 p.m., Houston is declared dead. The news spread through the hotel like wildfire. Within minutes, Grammy attendees, paparazzi, and hotel staff would all know the tragic news. But the night was far from over. Not only did the party continue as planned, at Clive Davis's insistence, Whitney's body remained in the hotel room, unmoved, until the event was over. Less than 3 years later, Houston's only child, Bobby Christina, was found unconscious in almost the exact same manner.
The family of Bobby Christina Brown announcing her death 6 months after she, just like her mother, was found unresponsive in a bathtub.
But what are we to make of all the bizarre coincidences and mysterious events surrounding Houston's death? What was the note she was seen passing to Brandy? And why would she be found face down? Even if she did fall asleep in the tub, she would have been on her back. And Bobby Christina had a near-drowning incident the day before Whitney. Very weird. A pre-Grammy interview with Clive Davis, Brandy, and Monica was interrupted by a frantic Houston, whose hair was dripping wet. Whitney then turns and conspicuously passes a note to Brandy saying, "Here, this is for you." Upon reading the note, Brandy's disposition immediately changed. Before handing it off to an assistant. Did Whitney know she was about to be killed? Was the note a plea for help? We will never know, as Brandy will not reveal what was written.
Last week, cameras were there with you and Monica when we did an interview, and Whitney showed up. She handed you a note. What was on that note?
I'm gonna just not say what it was and just keep it to myself. Okay. Just for my own personal reasons.
Why did Monica ask, "Why is your hair wet again?" Why was she wet before? Very odd. One of the most controversial elements surrounding Whitney's death was the decision to keep the body in the room until after the party had completed. Elite guests partied with Whitney's freshly dead body still in the bathtub above. It wasn't until Davis's party had ended, some 9 hours after Houston's death, that her body was finally removed from the Beverly Hilton Hotel. How did Clive Davis have the power to delay proper procedure until after his party was over?
You were, I think, going to go to the Clive Davis party.
Yes.
It was a surreal event where Whitney's body was still in the hotel, and there was this sort of party where apparently half the room were in tears, the other half were kind of partying. What did you feel about that?
I thought that was complete insanity. And knowing Whitney, I don't believe that she would have said, the show must go on. She was the kind of woman that would say, stop everything.
Was this whole thing a mass satanic ritual feeding off the energy of the deceased diva? In the world of the occult, a bathtub is used as a vessel for soul purification. Sacrifices are accepted through the element of water. In American Horror Story Coven, the character Nan is sacrificed to the voodoo god Papa Legba by being drowned in a bathtub. Britney Spears also has a music video in which she drowns in a bathtub. Notice the prevalence of bathtub symbolism among Illuminati celebrities.
As far as I know, Whitney was fine. She was fine. And another thing, Whitney did not get in bathtubs in hotels. That was something that she and I discussed on many occasions.
Yet another puzzling clue in Whitney's death is a mysterious water leak reportedly coming from the singer's room the night before. On February 10th, a man staying on the floor below Houston's discovered water cascading down the wall into his room. After phoning the hotel, he went up to investigate himself. That's when he found a troubling scene. The man swears not only was Houston's bathtub overflowing, but the flat screen in her room had been smashed, as if there had been a struggle. Interestingly, all of this took place around 2:30 a.m. 3 a.m. is when Satanists typically perform rituals. A strange joke on the sitcom Fresh Prince of Bel-Air has some speculating Whitney's death had been planned long before. The eerie routine appeared on Season 2, Episode 17, which first aired in 1991, when Whitney Houston was still on top of the world.
What's up, Will? Oh, what happened to your Whitney Houston cutout?
She fell apart in the shower.
Another curious coincidence surrounding Houston's death is the notorious number 33. 2012 marked her 33rd year in the entertainment industry. This fact is even stated on her death certificate. 33 is, of course, a very important number in the Freemasons and other secret societies, and its presence is often considered a calling card of the Illuminati. At the Grammys the following night, Lady Gaga was dressed for a funeral, even down to the black veil. Award show wardrobes are prepared well in advance, so there's no way her ensemble was thrown together the night before, leading some to speculate Gaga knew in advance that Whitney would be killed. But researchers have noticed something strange about Whitney's funeral as well. Egyptian sarcophagi stationed at the door that each person passed through to enter the service. Why would a Christian family want any ancient Egyptian trappings at their loved one's funeral, which would be more in keeping with the Illuminati's ancient mystery religion? But if all that wasn't weird enough, what about the fact that her daughter was also found in a bathtub under almost identical circumstances?
Brown's death comes nearly 6 months after she was found unresponsive at her home near Atlanta. Police say a friend discovered Bobby Christina face down and unresponsive in her bathtub January 31st. For months, her family kept vigil as she was put on a ventilator, moved to a rehab facility, and finally placed in hospice care.
A tragic coincidence or further evidence of an Illuminati sacrifice?
At some point, We have to wake up and realize that this thing is just too close, too similar. Mother, daughter, both in bathtubs. Something is very, very, very wrong with that picture.
Even more mysteriously, Bobby Christina was found passed out in a bathtub the day before her mother Whitney. According to TMZ, friends called security to get them to unlock the door and help them get Bobby out of the tub. It happened on the same floor of the hotel where Whitney would be found the next day. Could Bobby Christina have been the intended sacrifice? Did Whitney allow herself to be sacrificed instead of her daughter? But could there have been a financial motive to Houston's death as well? Whitney's performances had been going downhill for a while prior to her death, seriously impacting her earning ability. However, immediately following the news of her death, prices of her album spiked on Apple and similar music retailers, prompting an apology from Sony. She had a voice that could bring entire arenas to a hushed silence and admiration, and became the most awarded female singer in history. But behind the glamour lied a deeply troubled soul, struggling to survive in a demonic industry, a struggle that ultimately claimed her life. Contrary to many contemporary entertainers, Whitney Houston was not a Satanist. Say what you will about her drug use, but Whitney Houston loved her family and she loved the Lord, and the Illuminati couldn't stand it. Furthermore, she wasn't going to be part of their evil system anymore. So do you believe foul play was involved in Whitney Houston and Bobby Christina's deaths? I'll leave it up for you guys to decide and let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell to stay notified. And if you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. Also want to give a special thanks to my supporters at Patreon for supporting me and this channel.